So we are together. This is what we are as a family at Virtual Breakfast on a Wednesday. We are a network of highly mission-driven, principled people, men and women that are excited about where they need to go and want to support each other. So please treat this, as I always say, as your network. Okay. As an executive recruiter, I am networked with a beautiful community, and I feel very fortunate to call you my community, the Amy Cole Connect community. It is also in this place that we empower each other to do new and different things and look at things in new ways, especially during this particular time of change and challenge. And so when I say that we are mission driven, it's because we are out to help each other. And that is a great place to live from. Service. I so believe in serving, and I enjoy that place. That's a place for me that comes comfortably and it gets me excited. So to have you all on as we share with each other is really exciting. We are, what happens every week? We always talk about being stronger together. And we also talk about, teaching each other. And that's why a part of Virtual Breakfast is our Industry Insight special speaker guest. And I will invite Paulo in a few minutes to join us and share and talk about his career journey so that we can think about how we could platform in our own journey and see where that could take us. I want to also ask everybody to listen with new eyes and ears. You see with new eyes and listen with new ears. Why do I say this every single week? Nothing but change is constant. The only constant in life is change. And we have for sure experienced that this year. And is it exciting? Yes. Is it crazy scary? Ridiculously scary, right? Is it where do I fit in? Absolutely. Is it how am I going to navigate this new technology or digital? Am I going to absorb? Am I going to, push it back? These are all valid questions, and it's okay to challenge. We do need, however, to live in a place where we're pushing that envelope and we are stronger together, much stronger together. So I am so happy that every week at Virtual Breakfast, we get together. We have that inspired guest expert and we get to be ourselves. When I call on you today, I ask everyone, number one, let's talk a little Zoomy. Lips on, right? Lips on, positive, good lighting, no freezing if you can help it. Because this is where you're meeting people today. And it sounds like the obvious, but people are still, I was a speaker, a guest speaker, 39 people for an institution. And do you know that 21 videos were off out of 39? That's a lot. I understand we're tired. We're not in the mood. We're in our snugglies we just got back from the gym. However, I'm going to engage the 12 Hollywood Squares as the speaker because they've made themselves available to me. This is your platform through which to make yourself available and shining, right? Available and open to dialogue, open to communication, not afraid of what this particular platform has to do for us. The more comfortable we get with this, the better. We're going to talk, obviously, some professional development tips. One thing that happened this week, very interestingly, with a VIP of mine, darling, amazing human being, wonderful man, we found that in interviewing, he expresses himself much more articulately standing. We role-played interviewed sitting and role-play interviewed standing. Now, we didn't master where the computer should or shouldn't be, right? You've got to move it up and down. But guess what? Once he manages that and masters that, his interviewing will change dramatically. It just happens to work for him to not be sitting. So who knows what changes? If you are more of a participant in a standing mode, then get one of the elevated desks or you can buy a stand for your computer and elevate it. You do obviously want to be flat on with your computer's eye camera. You want to look into your computer eye camera, right? And we want to make sure that light is in front of us and not behind. Some basics, but this is the new normal. So let's get those mastered for sure. So why Virtual Breakfast every week? Well, I love to see you, number one. Number two, it's a little kick in the pants, right? Definitely a kick in the pants. It's industry intel. It's job market insights, right? We become our best selves when we learn and we educate. And it's a time to pivot. Or, as I like to say, pivot or pound the pavement. You may stay in your industry, but guess what? That industry has taken a whooping. So, what's happening in that industry that you are absorbing and embracing so that you are relevant in that industry? Or you may really realize, wow, I'm in hospitality, right? Hello, I'm in hospitality, and we have quite a bit more time before it comes back completely. I don't know if I have that opportunity there. What are my transferable skills that are transferable to other growing categories? Maybe medical, maybe digital, maybe project management, customer relations, right? Doesn't matter because God's got this bigger plan for all of us. And you know that, right? We've got to have faith. We've got to live in a faith place and not a fear place, right? So the market is not opening, it's opened. And it is opening. It's opening and it's opened, right? I'm seeing it. I now have a lot more jobs to fill. I want you to be competitive. I want us to be competitive as people and professionals in the market so that we stand out because we understand where we need to go. So time is limited on this call. As you always know, it goes fast. But I will give you an opportunity. I want to give you a lot of things to help you with your job promotion, to help you make a new promotion within your corporation, to help you hire in a smarter way. So if you have any of those questions, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can engage Amy Cole Connect, my team, and myself for coaching a little bit later in the call. And I welcome that opportunity to help you, you know, answer those questions. How relevant are you? Are you interviewing well? Why are you a choice over somebody else? How do you position yourself so that you are that choice over somebody else, right? So again, limited time on this call, but we can jump on a little bit later and talk about all that. So if you are ready to make that catapult in your career or just here for a little inspiration, you are in the right place. We welcome, welcome, welcome you. Last week, we talked about the power of yes. I love the power of yes. Fear is a dead end, right? Faith has a future, knowing and being hopeful. Saying yes is all about living our lives in faith, right? Knowing that we're called and that there is a glorious plan for you, knowing that. And yes is a very powerful choice. I'm not going to go over every single tidbit that we did last week, but those three words, letters, Y, E, S, they've got a life of their own. Like, I'm doing this, right? It sets you in that direction. So it starts with that commitment to the yes, committing to the risks, to challenges, right? Whatever you're mastering or trying to master. Right now, a lot of my executives that are calling are asking, should I get degrees? Should I get certifications? And I'm answering, if it is relevant to where you want to go and it is financially a good number, not a crazy number. Like I had a woman who wanted to do a $30,000 master's type program. I said, I don't think I'm going to hire you any more quickly because you have that master's at the bottom of your resume for that money and that time. So rethink that. Is there a certification? Is there an organization you can get involved in instead? But whatever it is important that you say yes to these new things and get excited about it. And so I love it that she wanted to commit to that, but I also want you to be smart about what we're committing to before we take too much time and energy and financial resources. And then my favorite takeaway from last week, of course, I find myself funny, is I said, doubt your doubts. Don't let that, oh no, I'm not sure. No, that's not me, right? I can't do that job. I'm not qualified for that. Flick, right? Who got the flick down? Hope we got the flick down. Don't overthink, right? Let's not doubt our doubts. Let's doubt our doubts is what I'm saying, right? This is a powerful yes. And it's what I like to share. And every week I think a lot about, what's stirred me the week prior. As you know, I like to journal, and it's our mission. This is all of our personal journey. And I'm excited about this to share because I think that Paulo has a lot to share about his personal journey career-wise as well, and how multifaceted he is and where it's taken him. It's the work behind the scenes in our lives that I feel are very impactful. It's the commitment, right? But the work behind the scenes sets us up on our journey. And I think it sets us apart. It's not always easy to keep the course. That's a definite. But that discipline and commitment to the yes works wonders, whether it's a diet, a financial plan, a career journey. Um, I'm actually binging the First Ladies on HBO. If you guys, it's a 6-part series on the First Ladies. And okay, man, oh man, this is, you know, they did the job, right? They were the wind beneath the wings of their first man, the president, without any type of title except the first lady, right? I mean, they had to have guts, right? They were pioneers. This show, these 6 hours, if you give it to time to listen to these beautiful, amazing, impactful, inspirational stories of these first ladies, they were pioneers, right? They were risk takers. They had to be super tough skinned. They had to stick to their own personal mission or they would get lost in the shuffle. How could you be behind the president, right? You in a shadow. These women were not in the shadows, or if they seemed as though they were in the shadow, they were really stronger than the pillars that you know, and these men were dependent on them, right? They stayed true to themselves. Their husbands were in the limelight, but they were agile. They were adaptive. They had to change on a dime. Every one of these stories, you're going to say, wow, how did she get through that? How did she do that with children? How did she do that with a handicapped husband? You know, but they knew their worth. They were strong on their own. They were them. They were believers, right? They handled that crazy criticism, the media, and all of the inside the administration, all the backstabbing and things like that. Yet continued to put on a smile. They could have been angry or in fear or in some type of place, but it was their internal gift, their strength, their commitment to that yes, that personal mission that helped them survive. I call it first ladyship, the first ladyship. I mean, Jackie O was quite the diplomat, right? From all the loneliness that she felt within that particular role, she would show up and charm and open up dialogue with foreign heads of states that made policy. You know, they say Nancy Reagan was not one to cross, super strategic, constantly protecting, Ronnie Reagan. She didn't, and if you discounted any of her value, that administrative person was out. She had some power. I mean, my favorite was Eleanor Roosevelt. The girl, first of all, such a trailblazer for her timing. She held a press conference for women only before the President Roosevelt had his first press conference. You have to see the show, guys. It's so good. She stood for equal rights, right? She participated personally in the Black movement at a time when that was unheard of for a white woman to do that. An educated first lady put her neck out there, right? She set a stage and and believed in what she was worth. And that's what all of us are doing right now. We are running a life and maybe have a smile on, but it's taking this deliciousness, this strength, this let's get this done. Let's get to virtual breakfast. Let's join that organization to learn more. Let's take that risk. And I feel like this is a theme that I share every week because it's exciting as we move through it. Doesn't mean it's easy. I never tell you that anything's easy. The challenges I've had this year. Nobody was staffing. We're finally picking back up. We're staffing. And that brings joy to my heart. It's a whole different game out there though. Very different game out there. So I share that on the outside, some people may seem gleek and it's all moving and shaking, but they are really have committed to what their major mission is in their life. Whether it's supporting a president, whether it's raising a family, whether it's being inspirational on a team as a team leader, whether your role is a job to create a product and make money, whatever it is, it's what is it taking for you to stick to that gun that gives you that sense of purpose for your own journey. And we talk every week about how purpose really resonates when you're out in the marketplace looking for work, looking for a new job. So I say every week, and I'm going to throw this in now, I believe strongly in the 5 P's of your professional edge. You've got your purpose, your personal brand, you've got your profile, your LinkedIn, and your resume. how you weave that purpose and that branding into your skills and expertise, that is the trilogy of who you are in the market. That purpose, that brand, and that profile. That's your cover letter. That's your thank you notes. That's your LinkedIn. That's your digital footprint. That's your, if you're a Facebooker and you want to use it to find work, make sure that it is professional, polished, and sharing who you are as the person that you are. The Amy Cole Zip Zip, the goofball, the fun, the get it on, get it done, right? My branding, zip zip, high standards. I come to the table, ready to rock, dedication, okay? And then we've got partnerships, which is your networking and your positioning. So these are the 5 pillars that that give you your professional edge. And when I talk about the inspiration of these women, that was their rock, their foundation, their rooted foot in the ground, feet in the ground, was that they were either going to protect a president like Ronald Reagan, or Michelle Obama had to break a lot of barriers to be the first lady African-American president. That was incredible. So do watch that because it's a lot of fun. Now, you know me, I know your expertise, or I feel like I know a great deal of you. I don't know everybody, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I know that you've got it inside of you. I know your expertise. I know already exactly that if you continue to walk in faith and stand by who you are and what you believe in about yourself, because you have that great value, that succeeding and growing is inevitable. And if you could, you know how I really feel, spread it. Who needs it today to find out, to hear from you? Who needs today to hear from you that they're on the right path, or encourage them to stay on their path, right? That's one of the things that I think is nice about this crowd, is that we're contagious and we continue to exponentially throw it around and have fun. So I am going to welcome Paulo Torella Vieira. And this guy is a believer, okay? I mean, impressive career journey. I mean, he said yes to speaking today without hesitation. And I can feel from his diversity as a human, and my conversation I had with him, which was a lot of fun in a car, he was driving his daughter to swim practice. We have a lot in common. He is open to challenges, professionally and personally. And I'm going to ask him to join us and talk a little bit about where his journey has taken him. Last week we talked to Kara Allen, international, right? She worked for Target in Australia. She worked for JCPenney in Texas. She worked for WGSN in London. She's in New York, but now moving to LA for a job. So we've had a lot of international things happening in our world today. So Paulo, I'd love to invite you to say hello.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good
Guess
for you.
where I am?
Huh?
Guess where I am?
Italia. Viva
Yes.
Italia. Good for you.
Yes,
I love it. Welcome.
That's where I am.
So listen, I want to ask for you to say your name, your title, and your industry, and then I'm going to share a little bit about and ask you some questions about your journey internationally as well as professionally and personally.
Yes. Ciao. Good morning, everybody. I'm Paulo Torello Vieira. I'm a partner and senior advisor at CDI Global and responsible for the fashion and leisure industry.
So here's a question for you that people might, they don't know. You have 25 years of experience in fashion, and is it all mostly luxury?
Yes, definitely
Okay.
luxury.
But it was manufacturing, wholesale, retail, and then you worked your way from sales all the way into a CEO position. What was that journey quickly for us? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was based on something that you said before and that we share. I mean, first of all, speaking after you is very difficult because the bar is very high. But I love the energy that you're sharing and you're basically you're giving us. I join your meetings or your conversation for a couple of weeks now, and I always get enriched and really empowered by that. So thank you. And you say yes, and I say dare. Never give up. Always look that the glass is half full, and there's a new opportunity laying out there. This is where I started. I started as a consultant, and I worked all my way up, becoming a CEO. And I think that one of the difference that I have is that I became a CEO starting from operation. Usually, CEO are from finance, from sales, or from marketing. It's very difficult from operation. But why? Because I dare, and because as you said before, it's the commitment, is what you do, is the work behind the scene. Never give up, being resilient. I'm a marathon runner, and that tells you probably the resilience that I have and the determination that you need to have in order to achieve. But everything is possible. Never give up. I mean, I moved to the States 20 years ago. I was in Italy. The dream of a lifetime when I was a kid was listening to Bruce Springsteen, coming to the US
Yeah.
and be at a concert, Bruce concert in New Jersey. That it happened multiple times. I had the luck to meet with him. So, real dream can come true.
I love it. So, but let's talk a little bit about, you know, then you took that, and I would say that many of the men and women, we're in consumer packaged goods staffing. I will be upfront. 20 years of my past, well, we're 21 years recruiting, but I was in apparel, denim and swimwear. And I, built into national sales manager and had Lisa worked with our company. And then we decided our favorite thing was building our team. So it ended up that we built out this recruiting firm. And that's sometimes the journey for people. I was absolutely fine working for Warnaco. I mean, I found the Excel charts a little boring. As a matter of fact, I hated them. And they weren't Amy Cole, but really came alive when I worked with the customer, getting in touch with them, solving problems. I'm a real connector. I mean, Amy Cole Connect couldn't be a better name for our organization. So, what made you then leave? You did very well as a CEO. How now did you say, well, I should go try this with equity firms? Did someone find you? Did you take an interest?
Everything in life happened for a reason. I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer in that.
Yeah.
And when, in my last position, when I was the global CEO at Cerruti, one day I met a guy that he was the managing director of CDI Global. It was, a casual conversation, over a coffee with a friend. When I decided, to leave Cerruti, I sent, messages, informing about my decision. And one of the guy was this gentleman. He called me right away, say, "Do you want to join us?" And that was kind of unexpected. And the answer was yes. But why was yes? Because as I said yes to you, immediately I said yes. And then,
You
I'm gonna
did. You said yes to me immediately. I said,
then
okay, I
I'm gonna
love it.
find a solution. I'm gonna find a way to do it. But then I realized, I was talking to my wife and I said, this would be for me, really to put to fruition all the expertise that I made over 25 years, because now I'm sitting at the table. You are, let me say, facilitating, an employee and an employer. I'm trying to facilitate a seller and a buyer in the fashion and in the leisure industry. What does this mean? It means that there's always, I would say, a happy medium. And my job, my task, and my challenge is to be able to facilitate the connection and the agreement between the two parts that in this moment is very uneven.
Okay. And let me ask if you wouldn't mind, because you educated me so generously, share a little bit about how equity firms decide to merge two organizations, or does an organization come to
Yes,
you? Yes.
yes. So there are two, we operate in two ways. We can be on the seller or on the buyer side. We cannot be two places at the same time because there will be a conflict of interest. So what we're trying to do is, for instance, in these days we're working on, I would say, four major or most important deals that we have on the table. Okay. Just to give you an example, one is an important, Italian brand that is looking for some minority partners. But why? Because they want to expand the business. It was a company that was, a top name, that could sit next to Loro Piana, Zegna, these guys that I work for and I work with. And I say, we have to relaunch the company. But the owner, I think, is so smart and so humble that he says, I cannot do it all by myself. So I want to have, a couple of partners that are going to help me. The money that I'm getting from the deal, I'm not going to put them in my pocket, in my bank account. I'm going to invest them to launch the company because I know that my majority, shares 5 years down the road, they're going to be 10 times more, 100 times. I was talking to a friend of mine that is a major, private equity owner in Canada, and he was telling me about this deal that I was totally fascinated. And that is, I think, is very important to consider. He said, we bought this company that we paid $12 million. We did not put $12 million. We put in 17 because we knew that we needed some money to launch the brand. And that is key because it's not what I always tell somebody that want to buy a company. So don't consider just the amount that you need to buy, but think, the money to get the fuel in your engine that you can keep running.
Okay.
They did it, 17. They sold it 3 years later, 112.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be a little bit elementary because
Absolutely.
this is education. So you're the equity firm. You are in mergers and acquisition. So you
Yes.
find buyers and sellers and decide.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I guess, and I know this, I'm not trying to seem like a nincompoop. Every deal, people decide what they want to give away and what they don't want to give away.
Uh, at the beginning, yes, and then what is, I would say that the biggest job that is our part to do is to be a facilitator in order that seller and buyer meet. Why? Because in this moment, I mean, first of all, COVID has, to a certain extent, accelerated a lot of deals that would have come. But why? Don't sorry, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, they are complaining or putting the blame on COVID. COVID is not the cause. COVID is just the accelerator in many cases of companies that were not properly managed. So it sped up the process of Chapter 11 or whatever, or
Yes.
restructuring.
Good point and true.
Now, the thing is, company that, let me say, seller side, the seller believes that the company is worth in this moment same price as 2019, so pre-COVID, plus something because the company has survived. Now, buyer, and it's totally a buyer market. They think that an acquisition of a company now is a bargain. No, there's a happy medium.
Okay.
The company was and that is our role, to be able to, I would say, to come to term both parties, because you know that you may give up a little bit on what you're asking. You may give a little more on what is your intention to buy, but then both entities are going to benefit at the end of the run.
So when you made this pivot into equity, I knew you happened to have gotten to know this man and he took an interest in your value. How did you have to present it in a bigger, more impactful way? Because there's a lot of men and women on this call, very senior in merchandising, planning, senior VPs of retail operations. And, I have often been asked by executive salespeople that, presidents of sales, Amy, if I could just consult for equity firms. Do you feel it was because you guys met on that particular meeting, or do you
No,
think equity firms go out and find men and women that are notable in that industry and then include them in their family to help
they
them make
they are
better
looking
buys?
they are looking for
They are looking.
people. They are looking for people that have knowledge, because what is, I think, what am I bringing to the table? The fact that when I'm dealing with a company, I know, let me say, all the trick behind the scene.
Yeah.
That is, having lived, and breath, the company, I would say, management for 25 years,
Hmm.
exactly where the values are and where the scorpions, behind the rocks are sometimes.
Right. Because I would feel, and I do believe I have good friends in mergers and actually a very friend that I grew up with in M&A, and he does more technology, fintech stuff. And guess what? He doesn't have a clue about that stuff, but he knows the legal side of M&A. But I know he has a team that researches and brings him to the table a deck saying, this is a good buy, this is a bad buy.
Yeah. Also because in the luxury industry,
Hmm.
uh, mostly, I'm talking about fashion in this situation,
Yeah.
consider that it's, I would say, it's a different animal. It's very particular,
Hmm.
and is not, take the money and run. Whatever you do in fashion, I'm not talking about the Gucci, the big guys. Let's talk about a normal company. What
Okay.
you're doing today, you're going to see the result in 1 to 3 years.
Yes.
When I was at Cerruti, I was appointed CEO by the private equity that bought 80% of the company. I told them from the beginning, whatever we do today, the earliest that we're going to see a result is going to be in 12 months.
Okay.
That sometimes, is a struggle for financial entities, that they are looking on a faster turnaround.
Sure.
However, if you have that patience, the
Hmm.
results can be maximized. I mean, look when Loro Piana decided to sell to LVMH. The multiplier that they did was unheard of. Now with Stone Island, being sold to Moncler,
Hmm.
16 times the multiplier. I mean, in the fashion industry, is magic.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Do you think it's because of marketing? Do you think it's distribution channel? Do you think it's pricing? Do you think it's product development? Do you think it's production? What do you feel would give someone 16x of a difference? I mean, going to an LVMH, you right away have the kudos of that particular branding in that house.
Uh, I have seen, Stone Island development over the years pretty closely
Hmm.
because, first of all, the Rivetti family is from the area where I am.
Oh,
And second, because I have the pleasure and the honor, to be friend with the CEO.
okay.
What they did, they always protected the value of the brand to the point that they did, the men's collection. They were thinking about the women's collection. They prepare a business plan, and Mr. Rivetti said, "Sorry, I'm not ready for it." And he
Okay.
stopped it.
Smart.
There was a rumor about 10 years ago that he was ready to sell. Then, when the buyer came to the table, he said, and again, this is rumor, but he said, "This is not the right buyer." He backed out. So,
Okay.
first of all, he always protected the integrity of the brand. And in these days, as I said before, I'm working on this deal with this important Italian brand.
Hmm.
That, let me say, the mantra, the broken record with them is, guys, think what you're doing now in terms of positioning, because where you position the brand today is gonna either reward or upset you in 3 years.
Yep.
So
And
it's
it's true of human capital.
yes,
Where are you positioning your professional brand today for that growth point, in a calendar year or 3 years? I mean, I often, people say, Amy, you're such an inspiration. You're a risk taker. You started your own company. I said, listen, I had a 3-year build. You are not in the black until about 3 calendar years. And that's true of brands in many ways too. I had put a little sunk of money into an account. And I said, if this is gone next year, go back to Warnaco. If it's still here and you're feeding yourself, stick it out and see what happens. And we're still here. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm an entrepreneur and have had the highs and the lows and have that risk factor. And I have a great deal of faith. I believe that I am where I should be. It's just so seamless to be in a place where I help men and women get
yeah.
jobs. So, but you just said it. Where are you positioning whether you're a brand, as in this Sandro jacket, or you are, Paulo Torella Vieira, a brand right now with an equity firm? Because where could you be in 5 years? You may not
Yeah.
know.
And I'm just reading the comments that are coming through. And
Sure.
Rasha, she made a very good point, saying that privately owned company are resisting progressive change. Yes, absolutely. And this is what I'm preaching. Mostly I'm dealing with the Italian companies,
Mhm.
but what I'm preaching now is DARE. You got it there now. Is the moment to invest, because they always say, oh, the market is suffering, the market's is sinking, and so on and so forth. The American market is gonna take off in 1-2 months. And if you start at that time, it's already going to be too late. You have to invest now. You have to invest a lot in research and development. You have to position yourself now that
Mhm.
when the door is going to be totally open, you can run.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's going to be like a start of a marathon.
Yes, yes. And Brian
And
Joy
and
was, go ahead.
and being here in Italy, I've been here now for 3 days, but there is so much hope that the American market is gonna kick off again, and it's gonna happen because, guys, we have over 100 million people that are already fully vaccinated.
In Italy?
No, in
Oh,
the
in America.
States,
Yeah, yeah.
in
Okay.
America,
Yeah.
in Italy now is catching up. And I
Okay,
see,
good.
in my family, I have 3 doctors, so they work in the hospital, so I know what the situation is. And yes, this is happening, but one thing that again I think is pivotal, and we as American, because I also have an American passport now, so sometimes I consider myself American, is we have to be extremely take great pride on what we're doing. Because remember a couple of years ago when basically the Italian, they said, oh, forget the American, we go to China because China promised big uh, budget and growth and so on and so forth. And they came back because America can maybe it's not growing at the same rate of China, but it's steady, it's consistent, and it's an amazing market that offers you an opportunity. And if you're able to get that opportunity, bingo.
Take it, take it. Well, you are very insightful, and I want to thank you. I want to have you answer 2 questions we ask everybody. Number 1, what is the quality what is one of your number 1 well, first, I have to tell people, marathon runner, dedicated, right, spin instructor. So
Yes.
tell me how you feel that particular passion and discipline in your life has altered your career.
And to be honest with you, today before being here, I did a 30 miles bike ride. because that's where I get my stamina. There is a moment in which I can think because I'm by myself,
Yep.
enjoying it, and the views are beautiful here. It was a great day, and I think that the kind of resilience, resistance, endurance that you get, and commitment that you have in training for a marathon,
Mhm.
it gets reflected on your attitude and approach to the business.
Yeah.
Never give up.
That's great. Well,
Never.
then maybe that's the answer to the question, which is, what do you think the number one quality is that's led to your success? Is it never give up?
Never give up. And I think another one that is very important is, and I see it in you as well, if I may, is always be optimistic. The glass can be half full, half empty. It always got to be half full, because even in the darkest moment, we all went through them. I went.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity laying right across.
Yeah. You're absolutely
And
right.
just be, and sometimes don't be too, I would say, difficult, to be a little too finicky.
Mhm.
Just go for it,
Yeah.
because when a door closes, a gates open up.
You're right. I love it. Paulo, I didn't even know you well enough to know, but you would preach the, I like it. I love it. Listen, I ask you this openly. There are men and women I know that joined today because of the equity interest. Would you be open if they were to find you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
Okay. I felt that might be the case. So listen, we open up to the audience, and if someone has a
Yeah,
question,
there's one thing that I would like to say, because
sure.
you really, uh, one more time, you were able to strike, when you were talking about, the First Lady show that I
Yes.
watched. I think is phenomenal.
Right.
And I think that, and I'm not talking about gender,
Nope.
but in a couple, both are always very strong. And there's always the other half is the mastermind behind the scene.
Exactly. Well, I didn't
And
want to.
talking about that, there is a beautiful song from Annie Lennox that
Oh,
talks about that.
what's that one?
Check it out. You'll tell me.
Okay, I'll have to go back. I love Annie Lennox. Is it a new song? No, she hasn't put anything
No,
out.
no, 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 no.
Okay, all right.
Women are doing it for themselves.
Oh, that's right. Women are
Yeah,
doing it for
yeah, you see,
themselves.
you see.
Okay, we got that. We got that. It's raining men. No, that's not her.
No,
Anyway, okay. So guess what, guys? Thank you very much. You're darling and wonderful, and I look forward to more collaboration ahead. I'm going to ask the audience to share about things that are happening in their world. We always do that the last 15 minutes of our call. And but truly, thank you also for saying yes, knowing that you'd be home in Italy, and I'm
thank you.
happy you're happy and everyone's healthy where you are. It's
We
fantastic.
are. Thank you so much.
Good. Excellent. I love it. So let's say hello and see what's happening in the world with the world. What's going on? Diana Borelli, my darling dear friend, what's going on in your world?
I had a feeling you were going to call on me today. I don't know why.
I'm glad. Welcome to the jungle. So tell us what's happening. What have you been saying yes to? What have you been saying no to? Is there anything you need a little kick in the pants or some love about? What do you need?
So I definitely am excited about the fact that the black hole is not so black anymore.
Tell us.
Um, I getting responses back, doing a lot of interviews. It's still a challenge though. I mean, I feel like I've done some of my best interviews, but I feel like the competition is pretty steep out there still.
Okay.
But I'm staying positive, connecting with old bosses, and they have been, uh, you know, giving me on a silver platter to some people that they know, and it's still, not working out. But I know that this is going to happen. And I'm not quite ready to share the whole story,
Okay.
but I have figured out my long-term goal of what I would like to do. Only my parents know. But what I wanted to tell you was, uh, there is two directors that I had to speak with and get to know over Zoom in order to get accepted for this program. And I used all of what you had taught us in regards to the lighting, wearing the lips. They're not on right now, but the background, being energetic, and I really got to know them well. And I just wanted to thank you for all of your advice and always keeping it very honest and real with what you need to do to make an impression.
Well, you're too cute for words, and I love it. And it's funny. So the woman that I did the speaking engagement with, I do a speaking engagement for them every 6 weeks, and she said, "Do you think next week you can tell? Next time you can tell everybody that if they don't show their video, they can't come on?" I said, "Well, you just lost 2/3 of your audience. We can try it because this is professional development and this is leadership and development training, me being excited to give and have fun. But yeah, this stuff is real. And so I'm really proud of you. You are an amazing talent. Believe me, I know you will.
Thank
And
you.
yes, this is going to be a land. And what's wonderful about you is you have the guts to say no when it's not right. And I really want to applaud you for that. I want to applaud
Thank
everyone
you.
who has said no to an opportunity because they think it's a band-aid. It's not. You need to be in a place where this spirit feels that. And as we always say, financially, all of us probably need to get back to work. We get it.
Yes.
But we also have those that have taken a few jobs, and unfortunately, we're now looking at they left the jobs. So hats off to you, girlfriend. Hats off
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, I'm going to see who else is out here. Tom Pawanda, what's happening in your world? Oh, you need to unmute.
Unmute myself. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? I hope you're well. I'm good. I'm busy. I'm involved with a startup. We've had a lot of growth in the last year. Um, Inflation is real. As I discuss with my factories overseas, cotton price is up and down and back up again, probably 30% since November. We're all in consumer goods, so. When Jay Powell in the Fed says transitory inflation, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that. Will the consumer end up carrying the blunt of the future MSRP prices? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, and I want you to just give your name, your title, and your industry because we do have new folks on.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies. Yeah, my name is Tom Pawanda, New York City. 20 years in the apparel business, menswear predominantly. I started off as a designer, creative like everyone else. At this point, basically anything from concept to garments in warehouses, distribution, collections. Love the comment about love the comment about managing brands close to the chest. Doing it every day. Yeah.
So let me just ask you. You say I agree that these tariffs and things are changing us. Do you feel that this is going to be an impetus to truly bring manufacturing back to America? Am I living in a bubble or am I hoping for the wrong thing? I really think we can in many ways in certain categories.
Sure. So cash flow, and rotation. If I'm saying 30% of cash flow is being affected by rotation, that's definitely affecting payroll, right? And so, I think it's people in leadership that they're going to have to look at their spreadsheets. As much as we don't like Excel, look at the spreadsheets and define growth and how we can responsibly meet our needs and carry more labor because we need more labor. Everything is growing. It's growing. It's just not like it was. It's very difficult. It's very complicated. You carry more hats than you used to. But there is demand. I mean, everyone I talk to says their old inventory is selling out. Everyone I talk to is saying that they are seeing demand. Everyone I talk to is saying there's money, guys, there's money. So from the consumer point of view, there's money on the street.
People,
So it's just time. It's time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I love hearing your way.
Yeah.
I'm going to just invite some new people that I haven't seen in a while. Kathy, I would love to say hello. B, marketing, and how are you? So your title, your name, and your industry.
I'm Kathy Van Duzer. I'm in public relations and marketing.
Nice to see you. Tell me what is happening that you maybe have said yes to lately or that you feel excited about or a challenge in your industry.
I have to say this year has been good as far as interviewing. The remote work location has more respect than it has in the past few years across the board. And, I had been looking at a full-time remote role. And I did have a job offer actually in February. It's, was interesting. The downside was that it was a company that is based in Australia. And until I got into the interviewing process, I didn't know what the structure, of the company really was. I wondered if they were looking for an American person because I do a great deal of media relations. I'm a media relations journalist across the board. So I thought that was the key, and they did. However, having done projects in the past with CEOs, companies based in Australia, and 14, 16-hour difference.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. I asked the person interviewing me, who was a manager level, I said, what do they do for meetings? And he said, well, that's the bane of my existence. So he said he took a nap during the afternoon so he could be awake in the evening for all the meetings. And I thought, yes, okay. So was not for me. At this point in my life, I'm not looking for a 24/7-hour job, regardless of the pay. And so I continue to interview. I'm networking with folks I've met here with Amy Cole Connect, as well as going back to my college and other colleagues, and doing it that way, and actually getting some, residual interviews.
Okay, good. I love it. Are you finding that digital has changed, though, your whole PR and marketing?
Sorry.
Have you found that digital channels have changed the way you've got to address PR and marketing?
Well, social media, for the most part, as far as integrative communication overall, it's a key part to any strategy, any company, what have you. So I became a certified social media professional a few years ago, going online, getting some training, and then getting the certification test, because I wanted to know more, first of all, and I wanted to be able to offer some insight expertise. So that is, I don't do paid, advertising is not my forte. Some people think, oh, marketing, you do advertising. No. So it's public relations, marketing, strategy, Marcom, and all of that.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to use Kathy V as an example of really super smart. She's in marketing. Everyone go up to your face and your 3 dots and rename yourself and put what you are after your name. So I am going to say staffing expert. You're going to see it change right now. This is like your name tag when you go to an event. So the 3 dots to the right side of your picture, you can then change the title of your name. Now I'm not just anonymous in 65 squares when I go to an event. It is a staffing expert. And should someone, interestingly enough, want to staff their team and get to like me from a comment that I've made or something, they may reach out in a different way. So Kathy, you're an A+ beyond student. You're not a student, you're teaching us. So thank you so much. That is something I like to, there you go. Marketing, production, whatever you happen to be in, make that a dash. And notice that Kathy said the word proactive call to action. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I like it. And I'm going to tell you about it. So good job. Yeah. Nice to see you. Sincerely.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you. Great to see you. I see a lot of fun faces here today. Rebecca Johnson, do you want to say hello, even though you're just a picture?
Sorry, Amy, but I'm multitasking.
Okay.
I am working.
Okay. Do you want to say, do you want to share a little hello?
I do. Hi. This is an awesome conversation. During it, I've texted 3 people to say, you've got to get on this thing every Wednesday, because this is the world we're all in. We're in this pivot place, right? So I am Rebecca Johnson. I have been working a nonprofit for 10 years. I do school wellness pretty much, but I'm pivoting. And like you said, pivot or hit the pavement. I'm not hitting the pavement, right? And so now what I'm doing, I used to work in corporate many, many years, and I left corporate for this mission that I've been following, but the mission is not lucrative. So I'm coming back. And so I have recently worked with someone, got a resume. And so, Amy, I need your help.
Well, I love it, and good to see you, my friend. This is when life just comes full circle. Rebecca and I are dear friends from I don't know how long ago, and she's never been in the consumer packaged goods world, so it wasn't relation. It was more through church circles, and I've always highly respected Rebecca for her. She is a woman who lives what her word says. She empowers and loves and gives to people constantly. So I'm sure that your mission, although not very financially lucrative, was a place where you continue to pour, and I'm sure you also got poured into. And your picture, you're looking gorgeous. So keep it up, and we will talk again. But thank you so much for coming on. This is fun to see you. I love it.
Say hi, Amy.
I love it. Congrats. Yes. Miss Catherine Dame, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I
okay.
just
So name, title, industry. Let's hear it.
So my name's Catherine Dame. I go by Cat Dame. I'm working as a senior designer at a small kind of family-run business. I do the women's swimwear and sleepwear there. I would say this last year has been kind of challenging, but it's picking up. The buyers are buying product. I mean, luckily I'm in sleepwear, so everybody's in sleepwear lately. So that market's been good. And the same with swimwear. We're optimistic about the season, everybody being vaccinated, and hopefully that will move forward.
Yeah, good for you. What are you finding? You say you're now working for a small company. Help me out in that. Is it because you've had more corporate jobs? So let's talk a little bit about that.
So right now it's a it's a company, and then it kind of has smaller, diverse, like smaller companies from it.
Okay.
And it's family run. So it's different than corporate. It's much different than corporate. But it does have its challenges being in a family run company.
Yeah.
You tend to take on more hats, more responsibility. So that's been challenging this year, is just taking on a lot of new roles, and acquiring a lot more work.
Absolutely. Tell me what you think about this, because this is what's happening for our team and staffing. This 3D thing is everything.
Yes.
Are you using it with a PLM? Are you using it with Gerber Unique? Are you using it in your, your new designing? Tell me, are you incorporating it yet? Or is because it's a small family, they have yet to purchase and move into that platform?
So we just purchased it, I would say a couple months ago, and they have 2 people using it because it's technically, we only paid for the 1 license. So the people that are being trained in it are the tech design people. It hasn't come over to design yet, but I think it will. And the only reason that we did get into it was because we do a huge amount of business with Walmart and Target on our kids' end, and that's where the push was coming from. So our senior tech designer that does a lot of the kids' business is using it, and we're getting trained in it. I think it's going to become a mandatory thing moving forward.
Me too. And I'm glad you said that, because for everyone listening, and I know they know it, but I'm going to because I'm sitting on the phone with CFOs. I'm sitting on the phone with COOs. Amy, I can't hire somebody if he doesn't have touched 3D. I can hire someone and help train them, but if they haven't even touched it yet. So I'm in this fence where I've got A++++ candidates, and yet they have not even been exposed yet to it. But to your point, Target and Walmart are saying, I need to have half of my design. Your presentation needs to be in 3D or I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely challenging because, like, as being one of those candidates, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get that training unless your company buys the program and does it. So if there is any CFOs out there that don't want to hire somebody, I mean, if somebody is quick with computer learning, it can be
doable.
learned.
I
Yeah,
know.
you just need to get somebody in front of it.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And you are absolutely right. Good for you. Well, good to see you, Kat.
Yeah, good seeing you too.
It's been a minute, so I don't know how long. It's definitely pre-COVID. I haven't spoken to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy I jumped on the call. It's I have my little notepad. I've been taking notes.
Is this your first time? Is this your first time?
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of working through, so it's been hard to kind of jump on, but I'm excited I did, and I definitely will be doing it again.
Well, good. We love having everybody, and we feel very fortunate. We really do. We really do. So nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. So kids, here we go. I want to share quickly, as I mentioned earlier, that we talk about that 5 P's of your professional edge, and Kat is talking and Rebecca is speaking and Kathy's now, everybody is out there presenting themselves in a way. Your branding is critical today. We are buying brands. We are believing in lifestyle brands. We are believing in brands that are maybe empowering women, maybe empowering mothers, empowering, healthcare workers. Brands today have to have some type of inspirational, as I say, aspiration. What is it that you want to project out there when you go and interview for these roles? What is it that you want to say to the world and say, listen, yes, I'm a designer. I'm exceptional. I can take something from concept all the way to final approval. I can speak and present to retailers. I understand what trends are happening. That's great. But so does the other guy over here. You've got it, Susie. So does Charlie. I do it with a way that is mission driven, let's say. Maybe that's your branding. Maybe that's what you just do innately is the word I'm going out for, right? I happen to be that woman who, with all my girlfriends and all my friends and cousins and relatives, I just like to bring a party. Not crazy, but just like bring that piece of joy. That's who I am with my clients. With CFOs on the phone, I like to be spirited about their business. It's just what comes out of my mouth. I don't think about it. So there's a scripture about what's in your heart comes out of your mouth. The words of your mouth are really speaking what's in your heart. And that authenticity is contagious. So if you guys are out there saying hello to people and applying to the black hole or getting to a third interview and you're not nailing it, some of it can be a branding piece, okay? Of why, in addition, like Katja said, she's doing the job of 5 people. Why am I hiring her over somebody else? Because that nuance of a brand, that nuance that you'll empower the team, that nuance that you love numbers, okay, that can be your brand. You can be a numbers nerd. Those nuances elevate your candidacy within groups today because agility, flexibility, leadership, these are critical points in who you are as a candidate and in your brand. As Paulo talked about today, brands are brands, and we are each a brand. So if you'd like to work together and try to help hone your brand of any sort and work together with your expertise and make sure that that's being positioned in the marketplace well and build that confidence out. We also do role playing. I offer one-on-one coaching, okay? And I welcome you to get in touch with us. I don't know, we can, Lisa, you can put my number in the chat or my calendar link. I would love to speak to you. No commitment involved, just to talk a little bit to see if I can help you, or if you need that help to feel and go out in that market in the new way, right? As Diana Borelli happened to mention, it's competitive out there, but we've got this. I'm not worried about any one of you. It's how we wrap yourself up and package it and tie it in a bow so that the words come out and the company hiring understands your value, right? I want to thank Paulo. I feel like I lost him somewhere. Oh, there he is. Paulo, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your family, and we'll see everybody next Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hi, Amy. Thank you.
You're welcome.